Adobe applications, Unreal Engine games, and many modern browsers. So someone may ask, why learn C++? Because it teaches you how programming really works. For example, when you master C++, learning languages like Java, Python, JavaScript, or C Sharp becomes much easier. Most companies use C++ because it is fast, powerful, efficient, portable, and most of all object oriented. Okay. So before we start anything, I will take you through how you would, as a beginner, would want to start your C++ programming journey. Before you write any code, you will need something we call an IDE. And for this C++, we would use dev C++. In fact, IDE is an integrated development environment, which will enable you to code your whatever you'd want to, whether it's an application, a software, or even a cloud, something you'd want to do, would give you the chance to code them in every language you would want. But for this C++, you will use the app specifically called dev C++. I hope most of you are aware of this and familiar with this app. Okay, so from the interface on your screens, you would see the dev C++ on the YouTube screen. And as I hover the mouse through the main function over there, I just want to take you through some few things. Most people say, how do I start a new program in C++? So today I'm just going to walk you through how basically you would start a new project, how you would run any code you would want to run with the dev C++, okay? And then many beneficial tools you would need and insights you would need for you to be able to grasp the knowledge using C++. The first question most people ask is, why do we use console application? From your screen, I'm going to type something, okay? Most of the times when you are about to give a command, for example, let me put it in the body of the code. When you're about to input something like, okay, so sorry guys, I think there was a break in the network. So what I was saying was, most people would ask one basic question, why do we use console application? I just want to take you through something that is already familiar to you, but you might not know how it's being used or the main function. So, for example, if you want to call an output function, okay, you bring from the screen, I'm typing it, so you should see. From the screen, you bring these, is it less than, or I should call it symbols. Then you put something like your cout, okay. Now, cout basically means console out, okay. So you put your cout, which in other terms, for example, in Python, it will be, let's say, printing or print ln, something like that. You would bring your brackets, and then you would put your whatever you'd want your code to output there. For example, let's say hello world, or hello prempekata, or hello blah 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 you would want. So this C out means console out. Okay. And I'm trying to let you understand, why do we use the console application? We use the console application because it allows you to interact with users through the keyboard and screen. So the console displays our output using cout, as I already said, and it accepts your user input using cin. So it is the easier way to learn programming before moving to graphical applications like the GUIs and all that. So we are going to create a new project and select the console application. Okay, so from your YouTube screen, you should see my mouse pointer hovering. Okay, so you would come to new. Okay, then we come to project. You tap on the project. Then just like you can, Yes, sorry guys. So you, just like I said, you would want to create a new project. So you put your mouse pointer on the file name and new, then you drag it towards project. Okay, you drag it towards project. Then you click on project. Then you choose console application. Okay, you can edit the name of your project here. In this case, it's already by default project 10, but I would want to use Winfred Carter. Okay, you can make it like in any name you would want. Then you click on OK. Then you start a new project. It will give you a prompt to show you, let's say if you have already opened a new project, okay, it will give you a prompt to show you whether you'd want to start a new project with the new name you have already said. Then you just click on yes. Then there we go. So you choose where you would want to save it. So initially there, when we see main, okay, in any programming like code, for example, C++ in this perspective, main is trying to tell you the function of the code. Here we have the main.cpp, meaning the main is the name and it's using the same function. But I want to modify it, okay, which is possible. So I just change it from here. Let's say kata, okay. And I've saved that as C++ extension, which means I'll be able to use the dev C++ to run it. And then I'll just save it. Okay. So when I save it, you see it has opened a new project interface for me. Okay. So when you see something like this, then before you do anything, let me take you through this. When it opens for you like this, from here, I'm going to highlight some interfaces, okay? From here downwards is basically the body. So between here, I'm coming. So between here, between this place to the return zero, it's where everything that you code should be contained in. Is that clear with everyone? So this is where your body is. Where I have highlighted in blue, in deep blue, is where you'll find your body. And then this main here is trying to tell you the name of the function, okay? So we have our int main, and then the int here simply means integer. Basically, we have types, we have functions and we have types, okay, in C++. So integer is a type in the C++ programming. We have various types like uh, you for now, let's stick to the integer for now because we will get to that. But we are telling our code that what you are going to put in the body and everything that it will output to us is going to be an integer. So for this code, there is nothing in the body except return 0. We are trying to say that our code should return 0, which 0 is also an integer. So we need to get this off head before, you need to understand this before you can code a proper C++ programming. Let's write our first program. So just like we have here, include our include IOStream and using namespace std. Then you bring your colon, okay? I'm coming. Then you move to your identifying the type of function you'd want. So with this case, as I said earlier, we are starting with integers, okay? So our int, then main, which is our function. Sorry, our int, then our main, which is our function. Then we bring our brackets. So we bring our brackets, right? Then inside our brackets, so as we bring our brackets, we would make sure we have our curly brackets. Now you can put your curly brackets here, or you can bring it to the new line where I've brought the mouse pointer. Either ways, it's going to work. Okay. So after we have this, make sure that return zero, your return zero here, as I said, anything from the function, okay, to the last parenthesis is going to be your body. So it means we would have to delete this parenthesis, which will make everything that will be from here downwards to the return zero our body. I hope it's clear with everyone. Great. So we will start with what we want our code to do. For now, we say we want our code to just print hello world. So we will start with the console application, just like I've already explained. So console out, and we would have our two less than I would call it. Either ways. Right. Then we would have our no. Yes. So great. So then our inverted commas. Then we put, let's say, hello world. Okay. Hello world. Then we make sure we bring our column. Okay. Then we can say it should return zero. So from here, if you run this code, it's supposed to work. So if you are following, you can also run this code to see if it actually works. Mm. So as you can see here, it's compiling. So you see from our console here, we've seen hello world, which is what we wanted our program to print out for us. Um, Someone is asking a question from the comment section that why does C++ needs both .h and .hpp header files and then .c++ source files? Okay, so the reason why it needs that is because the compiler processes each source, for example, the .c++ file independently and sequentially, which will require a forward like declaration of the entity's existence and size, type signature before the entity can be used in the code. Let me show you the reason why, like a clear example. Now for here, I already said before you save every code, you would have to identify the extension, and then the ID you are using would run the code based on how the app is being the code is being identified. So that is why it uses those header files. Please, do we understand? So for this one, we have it main.cpp. It means the code will recognize it as a C++ app. Now, for example, if we change it to be main.c sharp, if we change it to be main.c sharp, it means our code will, the IDE will recognize it as a C sharp code. But the syntax we have used here is solemnly like ideal to C++, which will make our console print out an error program. Do we understand it? Yes. So we give the source files and the header files based on the code we are writing so that the IDE it will match the syntax we've given it so that there will be no errors in our program. I hope everyone is clear. Okay, so now we've been able to print hello world. Mm. And if you were able to print the hello world, please can we see in the comment section? All right. So I'll just go over to explain the code and everything. So someone would ask the include IOStream. So this actually imports the input and output library. In programming, we call some things library, okay? Um, for example, if you are coding in Python, object-oriented is different from other programming languages. For Python and other programming languages, you would actually have to install the libraries. Okay. For example, if you would want to work with numbers in Python, there is a library called NumPy, but that library would not work just by you calling it in your code, just like we've called include IOStream. So input and output stream. So we've said include input and output stream. No, in Python, just calling the library wouldn't let it work, but you would have to install them first. But for object-oriented programming, whether it's C++, whether it's Java, your libraries and everything are already packed with your IDE. So you don't need to install any external library for you to use them. So any library you would bring out or you would call, it will work. So as I'm saying, the IO stream or the include IO stream we are calling the input and output libraries. This means our code would be able to give us any output. And if we even request an input, we would be able to put them in the console. Okay. Then using namespace std. So this allows us to write console out the console out instead of just putting std. Just as I said, this is a console program application. So the using namespace std allows us to put write our C out, the console out, let it print the hello world instead of putting the std there. Okay. Then the int main, just like I explained earlier. This integer is trying to say our code type here. This int is trying to let us know that this code type here is dealing with integers. Okay. And then the main here is a function. So this is the starting point of every C++ program. And then every execution starts from here. Now, the return 0, which I'm going to highlight for you here, means the program executed successfully. Basically, in C++, it is mandatory for you to bring a return 0 at every point of your program, at the end of every program. So in C++, it is mandatory for you to put the return 0. Some people might say either break or something. Either ways, you are correct. So let's go to the output. Now, whenever you use cout, just as I said, console out, you are trying to say your code should display an information to the user. Okay. So we use the cout here, as I've explained earlier, to display an output we would want the code to bring to the user. Now let's talk about other types that we have. Just as I said, we have types like integer, we have variables, we have characters, we have a whole lot. So we are going to talk about variables, okay? So as the name suggests, right, variables are containers, okay? So they are containers that keeps data. And then variables are, it means it can be interchangeable, meaning variables are not like just distinct. So it can be, you can do different things with variables when you are doing coding in C++. So let me give an example of using a variable. So for example, let's say this int, and okay, let me clear this. So we are going to define for this type, we are going to say, okay, we are dealing with integers. So any number we put inside, the code will recognize it. It will not say it's syntax error or something. So we are declaring our integer to be 20. We bring our column. We bring our semicolon. Then we declare our float height. Okay, ht. Oh, float height to be equal to 1.75. Then we bring our semicolon. So our integer will be equal to 20, right? Our float height will be 1.75. Then our character, which will be identified with char. Oh, sorry. Instead of one, yes, I put exclamation. So our char, we are saying char grade should be A. Okay. We have our A, and then we come to our string name. Right. String name is going to be John. Okay. And then we will use Boolean here. Okay. So you see, I'm using very different types here. We would explain each and every one. So our bool will be, let's say, past. Mhm. True. Let me bring our column. So basically, what I've written here, they are just examples. Okay. Examples of the variables, like how we are saying each of them should store anything, what have you. So the integer would store whole numbers, the float will store decimal numbers. That is why we have 1.75 there. And then our character, okay, will store a single character. So it means you cannot put John in character grade. Do we get it? So just like I said, variables are not extinct. So they can be for different types. And so we have different variables here that you would assign different stuffs to. Okay. And then we have our string which will only take text. So it means if you put a number in the string, it might not work. Great. And then we have the boolean which deals with true or false. Okay. And then we have double which does more accurate decimal. Anyways, let's go to taking input. Hmm. Why the column? It's not column, it's actually semicolon. Okay. Yes, it's actually semicolon. And I said return zero is a mandatory thing in C++. If you don't put your semicolon at the end of your line or every code line, the syntax will not be able to recognize it as valid. So there will be an error in that line. That is why we bring semicolon. Please, do you understand? Great. And then I think someone was asking a question like variable something. Check for me. So going forward, we will talk about taking input. So taking input, let's say we are using string name, okay? And then we bring our semicolon, which means it has ended. Yeah. So the person's question was like, why there is no variable name after the integer. Okay, so basically, just as like I explained, okay, it's okay, you let me just put it there. Let's say number, okay. It's not actually like, the reason why I didn't even put it there is because, or even it's not there is because it's not like it should be like this all the same. I explained to you that integers here means this variable container will take only numbers. Please, do we get it? Good. And then the float container here, which is a variable, is also showing that it will, it can only take numbers or decimal. It can only take decimal points. Do we get it? Great. So it doesn't mean the height is actually 1.75, but mostly we can get height in 1.75. That is why we have it there. So I can even change the height here and put something like weight. Okay. So it's not something that is stagnant. I'm just putting it there to like do an illustration. And then you see for the last one, the Boolean character variable, sorry. I put past here equals true. Now I can also in that same manner put false. Do you get it? Boolean is for just two things, true or false. So I can put, let's say, what do you call it? Mm, qualified. Okay. I can put qualified there. It doesn't change anything. I'm just trying to modify, or how should, yes, I'm just trying to like add quality to the explanation of the characters I've brought over there. And here I said string name. This can only takes for strings. Strings only take text. Do you understand? So the word name there doesn't necessarily mean it should be joined. I see. I can even put company here, and inside here it would be Cartersville. Okay, which is not wrong. So if you make up your mind that int, you have to put number there or else you are wrong. No, that is not how it works. That's why I'm showing you float deals with decimal points. So if you are coding and you need decimal points, then you would need to implement your float variable. Please, is it understood by everybody? Great. So then let's go to the taking input. All right. So we have string name, just like I've put over there, and then we have console out, our console out, and then we have our, let's say, enter name. Okay. Now, this is trying to say our code or our console will display or give us a prompt telling us to enter a name. So this means we would need to input something. Okay. I'm taking you through the input methods in the C++. Great. So I bring my semicolon here to tell the code this line has ended. Then I come to my C in, console in. Then I bring my, please be very like careful of the symbols I'm using. Or how should I call it? Is it character or whatever? The less than and the greater than I'm using for both of them. You don't use the less than for the C in and the greater than for the C out. Make sure in your exams you don't go and miss any of them. Great. So we have our C in, and then let's say hello. Okay. Okay, let's say what's your name? Okay, you let's say hello, because this C out is already telling us what's our name. Basically, what's our name? So we have hello here, and then there will be an option for us to put our name. So when we put our name, then it will come hello, let's say Kata, or hello, blah blah blah. Like, do we get it? Right. So when I'm home, that's right. So when we would come to our C out, yes, great. So if we have this, mm, please, are you following? So somebody is asking what's the difference between float and what? Double. Okay. So basically it's like they are doing the same thing. The only difference is the double deals with more like decimal accurate points. Like, do you get it? So for float, we are having like 1.75. Let's say you are dealing with numbers that range from like very less numbers, minute numbers. Okay, minute numbers. If you are coding, let me give this example. When you are doing Arduino, okay, Arduino programming, you would need to be very careful of your distances. For example, if you are using a breadboard, because it deals with whether there will be a delay in the response of everything you are coding. Even in um, this, when you are doing embedded systems, right? So if you are coding and you think you would need very accurate decimal points, then you would use double instead of float so that it will reduce either a delay in a response or anything you are coding. Please, do you understand? Great. So coming back to the input function I have here, I've already declared to the IDE that I'm going to be doing something that deals with text. Get it clear? Because I've already identified my string here. So I'm going to be dealing with something that deals with text. And also get this clear. It's not only going to be name. As I said, I can put, let's say, company here. Or I can put, let's say, food. Do you get it? And then in my cout, I'll be like, enter your food. And then my C name, I would put my, let's say, the food I want there. And then the cout will print hello. Then it will print my food. Basically, anything that deals with text. It's not only limited to name. Okay, in programming, you have been advised to explore. So there is nothing like stagnant stuff in C++. All right, then let's move forward. So, explaining the difference between C in and C out, the console in and the console out. So, as I said earlier, using arithmetic operations, using comparison operators, just like the, as I call it, the greater than and the less than. In arithmetic operators, we have something like plus. Great. Great. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we have plus, we have minus, we have asterisk, we have stroke, and we have percentage. Basically, if you use the stroke sign, it's like a division. Okay. So we have the percentage sign as well. And so implementing them, we can say, let's say integer a or integer a will be equal to, let's say integer a equals 10. Either way it will work, but let's be on the safer side. So integer a equals 10. And then let's say integer b equals 5. All right. And then you would give in this command or this method, I'll call it cout a a plus b. And you bring our semicolon. Okay. Then you would come back to our cout. Another one. So our cout. Then we would have a minus b. uh, So a minus b. Then we bring our semicolon. Then we have another cout. Then we have a over b. So A over B. Okay. So, okay, so just like I said, we saying this is trying to tell our code to give us an output of A plus B, A minus B, and then A over B. Okay, is that right with everybody? Then let's go to comparison operators. Hmm. Okay, so with the comparison operators, they actually run either false or true. So we have like greater than, we have less than and equal to. So, okay, then we have greater than or equal to. Then we will have this. Then we have this one too. Basically equivalent, okay? Mm. Okay, so let's take one example after everything I have said here. Let's see if we can implement everything that we've learned so far. So I would want you to open a new program console, okay? And then I would give you some questions for you to tell your code to or code it to give me the answers. So let's all take our machines, open a new program, a new project, use a new console. Let's go. Start a new project. Good. So you are to write a. I wish I could put the question on the screen so that you guys can see. Hold everybody. I want to put the question on the screen. So when the question comes on the screen, kindly take a screenshot or write it so that you can write it and make sure you will be able to understand and go over it. Then we go to our next section. So you can see the question on the screen. You can see the question on the screen. And I'm going to read. Write C++ statements that accomplish the following. A. Declaring integer variables x and y. Initialize x to 25 and y to 18. B. Declare double into brackets integers variables x and y. Initialize x to 25 and y to 18. C. Declare and initialize a double variable pay rate to 12.50. D. Suppose x and y are double variables. Output the contents of x, y, and the expression of x plus y over y minus 18. Then we go to E, the last one. Copy the value of an integer variable. And then the integer variable, I think the name is there, first number, okay, into an integer variable called temporary number or temp number. I'm going over the E again. Copy the value of an integer variable named first number into an integer variable named temp number. All right, so please, you can start working on it. I would also be working on it right here. Okay, guys. So if you if you have been able to do it, if you have been able to do it, then you should be able to. Your code should be like as I'm going to put here. For example, the A. Okay. Let me bring the hash sign. Okay. So for A, I would have, let's say, just like the program says, I should declare integer variables x and y, and then I should initialize x to be 25, y to be 18. Okay, so maybe you might have seen from my code that I'm having the hash sign and the A. Basically, this is what we call commenting in code, okay? If you are coding, most of the times you can have like 4,000 lines of code. And then for you to be able to track or come back to a code to fix an error or get to know what the code means, let's say you've left the code for some years, we call something documenting. So in coding them, you put comments in places where they are important to you. And then when you run your code, these comments, because it starts with an asterisk, sorry, the hash sign, the code doesn't recognize it. So it doesn't get involved in anything you do, but it can be used to explain your code. So that is why, because I want you to know I'm going to answer A or question A, I have commented A there and I'm going to answer under A. And when I run my code or whatever, my comment will not affect it. Please, do you understand? So we call it commenting. Anyways, so I'm declaring my integer x, even as the question says, to be 25. Okay. And I'm having my integer y to be 18. All right. Good. So I would come to B. So I will come to B. Okay. And B says I should declare double integer variables x and y. And I should initialize x to be 25, y to be 18, just like I did in A. So I'll just comment on my B. Let me bring space. Comments on B to show I'm answering B. And then so double x. Okay. I'm initializing it to be 25. And then double y. 18, just like I did in. Okay. Let me come to C then. So C is asking me to declare and initialize a double variable pay rate to 12.50. It's just as easy as you are just declaring them, okay? So you declare your double data type, pay rate should be equal to 12.50. Then I bring my column successfully. Then I come to D. So D is saying I should imagine X and Y are double variables, meaning I should imagine X and Y are a container having that might have decimal points. Okay. I should output the contents of X, Y, and the expression of X plus 12 over Y minus 8. I think we get the question clear, even as I've explained. Great. Let's go. So I'm having my C out. Then I'm having my X. Okay, then I'll have my x plus 12. 12.0. Mind you, you let me continue when I get there. So, just like the code says, y minus 18. Voila. So then we come to e. Okay. So e is saying I should copy the value of an integer variable, naming it first num, into an integer variable, naming it temporary num. So basically, this is what the question is telling me to do. Temp num. Okay. Temp num equals first num. That is it. So send your favorite emoji or your favorite, yes, emoji, I would say, if you got it correct. Okay. Without wasting much time, let's go to if statements. I think most of you have been feeling irritating, maybe thinking these are not important. Let's go to the switches, the ifs, the if else, and blah blah blah. Your time has come. So if statement, okay. Mm. So supposing we are writing a code to determine whether a person is an adult, okay. Now, if are conditional like cases. So me defining my integer here to let my code know. Again, you see here, we don't have number, we are having age. And then we all know age are in numbers. Age are not in text. So we are trying to tell our code that whatever that will be here, we are going to deal with numbers. We are saying our scene should give us, you, we will input our age here, okay? And then our if statement would come. If age, okay, is greater than, sorry, greater than or equal to 18. Our cout should print adult. Our code should print adult. So let's run this code and see. So run the code and let's see if it's working. Please, those of you that have been able to run the code to see it's working, let us see in the comment section. Oh, okay, so I can see some of you with your emojis, you are done with the code and it worked, right? Please, I want to see whether the code worked. the if condition statement, it should work. Great. So I think Kofi Cranton here is saying float and double does the same thing, just a double. Great. So as I said, they all deals with decimal, but double gives a more accurate decimal points when you are using. That's why I was giving you an example using the Arduino programming. Or let's say if you are using object oriented, you are doing embedded systems, and you would need to deal with numbers that will influence the delay or the response timing, a response or error in your timing. You use double instead so that you'll be able to calculate accurately for the delay out time or the response time or whatever you would want. Do you understand? Great. So some are saying it works, some are saying there is an error. Right. So I think most of you had it right. We would go on further with the if else condition. Right. So if else condition, assuming if our, for example, base mark is greater than or equal to 50, or a mark is based on or equal to 50, so mark equal to 50. Okay. Mhm. We are telling our code to give us an output telling us the person has passed. So see out. Else. Okay. Mind you, you would need your parentheses, okay? No. So here, right. No. I think I would let me bring them here first. Great. But I'll still need a parenthesis, so hmm. So hmm. Great. So else it should print it should print our So we are saying that we are giving a specific mark or a threshold to the code, saying that anyone that passes get to the absolute threshold or above the threshold, it should print to the user as passed. If it falls below, it should if it falls below, then it means if it falls below, then it means it should print fail. So if it gets 49.50, it gets 49 point what? It should print fail. So basically, this is what we are telling our code to do. Okay, please, do we get it? But Lucid, you said you did the same thing as mine, but got an error. Are you talking about the first code? See, those of you that are saying you don't understand the temp number part, listen. I think you didn't pay attention. Let me go back for you to get it. In question E, the question is demanding you to copy a value of an integer. Mind you, we are giving you examples. So we are giving you examples of how you would work with variables, various variables. And then in question E, it is telling you to copy a value of an integer variable. And then the first integer variable, you will name it first number. Get it clearly. Then you put it in another variable container, which you would name it temporary number. Like, do you get it? So it's not like we have temporary number as a data type or whatever. No, it is the name you gave it. You gave it. You get it? All right. So it's not like we have it somewhere. No, you name it as such. Right. So you name it as such, and then right. So please, do you understand the if else statement? For- In the initial one, for example, with the if statement, okay, we gave it a threshold that if the age is greater than or equal to 18, it should print out adult. Now, if the age number that the code receives is less than 18 or it's not even up to 18, it means the code will not print anything. You will just receive a blank space. That is why there is a need for us to bring an else. Do you understand? So for this one, if it doesn't meet our requirement, it should just print fail. In most cases, they don't use the else. They just use if, and because there is no else, it's either they will put a break or a return zero. But here we want to make it like more interactive. So if it doesn't meet our requirement, it should print fail. Do we understand? Great. Then, okay, I think someone is asking a question here that I think you have to first accept a value from the user first before the if else block. Listen, mostly that's why I told you programming is something like you need to explore. There is nothing like it is like this. You have to, there is something fixed. No, programming is not fixed. In this code, there is no user input to give anything. We have just given it a requirement. If it meets the threshold, meets the requirement, do this. If not, do this. In other ways, you can also do it in your own terms where if it doesn't meet the requirement, it will let the user input another thing again. Do we understand? Okay, so my attention has been drawn that, let me tell you, if you really want to understand programming, okay, you should be open minded. Don't just stick to just one thing. because when I was doing the first if statement here, I declared my int with my age number here, my age like statement here. And with the if else, I didn't declare anything. You people are thinking maybe I would have to give an console input like command. No. Meanwhile, it falls under the same thing. So whether I put it there or not, you should understand that we are dealing with that. Do we understand it? So there is nothing like it's a different thing. And moreover, I am using this to explain the conditional statements for you. As we proceed further, we would solve a real world example. Do we understand? Great. Someone is asking my C out. Hmm. What is wrong with my C out, please? Is it for the if else condition or the if? Someone is asking why. See, Miracle, please, are you in level? Hold on, electrical or computer? Because I have to come and give you a big knock. Something I've explained long time. You are telling me you don't understand again. So when I was explaining the console out and the console in, when I was explaining the console out and the console in, I made you understand that. So I made you understand that in C++, okay, when we say syntax, okay, I believe when you were being taught C++, you were taught about various errors. So when we say syntax, it means these are the stuffs or the writings or whatever that your IDE or C++ programming recognizes. Do you understand? And then if you'd want your code to print a display to the user, this is what you use. Please, do we get it? So we use two less than. I'm explaining with less than and greater than. We call them comparison operators. Do you get it? So if you are using cout, you would have to use the less than, double, and then C in, which is the console in, greater than, double. Am I right? Great. Ah, yes. So I think that it has been clarified. So cout is less than the two less than, and then console in is two greater than. Please, is it clear with everyone? For the if else, it tells that's what I was explaining to you that for the first if statement, I first declared integer, that you're going to be dealing with ages. For the if else, I didn't declare any integer that's mark or something. But you should know we are dealing with that. So if I don't put it there, doesn't mean you also not put. Do you understand? So that is why you had an error. So you let me put it there before you people say they didn't. That is why they teach you and you say, oh, when someone comes with a different approach but the same thing, you say one sir. Right. So people were expecting me to do this, so I've added it. Okay. So I should even put the C in again. Challenge I'm tired. Mm. So mm, right. So I think I've done it the way you wanted on a silver platter. So you can enjoy. Let's go to okay, so from here I want us to solve one question, okay, with the if and if else. I think it's going to be easy for us. Mm. For your information, it's like a problem solving. So I'll put the question on the screen and I would read it as well for further clarification. So You people understand it better. So the question is going to be posted on the screen. On the screen. So suppose that sale and bonus are double variables. Write an if else statement that assigns a value to bonus as follows. Let me go over it again. Yes, so I'm going to read the question again. Okay. So suppose that sale and bonus are double variables. Write an if else statement that assigns a value to bonus as follows. If sale is greater than 20,000 bucks, sorry, $20,000, the value assigned to bonus is 0.10, which is 10%. If sale is greater than $10,000 and less than or equal to $20,000, the value assigned to bonus is 0.05. That is 5%. Otherwise, the value assigned to bonus is 0. Do we get the question well? I'm going over it again, even though it's on the screen. So just follow. Suppose that sale and bonus are double variables. In this case, you are trying to let you are dealing with decimals. You would have something to do with integers, which will include decimals, what have you. Open a new decimal. So we are asking you to write an if, and if possible, there will be an else condition. We are asking you to write it as well. Statement that assigns a value to bonus as follows. So for the first one, if sale is greater than 20,000 bucks, the value assigned to bonus is 0.10, which is 10% of the sale. Also, if sale is greater than 10,000 bucks, 10,000 bucks, okay, and less than or equal to 20,000 bucks, the value assigned to bonus is 0.05, which is 5%. Otherwise, the value assigned to bonus is 0. Your time starts, people up. Your time starts. Please play with it. Play with it, okay? You know, one interesting thing about programming is just playing with stuff. Play with it, play with it. You make errors, you. So you just run with this, okay? You that are expecting me to run my code, okay? After you are done with this, I will show you the if else statements. Then before I solve this question, so you don't worry. I will show you everything. Yes, so back to this code. I can see most of you are confused. People are saying I should run for you to see it. Right. So from this if else statement, we are declaring our threshold to be greater than or equal to 50. It should print passed, okay? And if it doesn't meet our requirement, it should give us fail. So we are going to run the code and see. So it's giving us this output. Our threshold is greater than or equal to 50. So I'm going to input, let's say 20. Right. Then I'll hit enter. Then I'll have the results to be fail. Okay. In like manner, I run it again and then I input a number that either meets my threshold or is more than my threshold. Let's say 50 point 4. You see, it's passed, right? Great. So let me so let's go to the if else statement, okay? Right, else if statement. So with the else if statement, if let's say mark, let's say mark. First, let me declare everything before you people say there is nothing like. Alright, then you say omu did so so you have our C and mark, okay. Hmm. Wait, man, yo. Hello. Yeah, so please are you all following? Let me see your favorite emojis if you are following, please. Then we would have our cout to be here. Right. So we have our cout to be. Okay. Mm, let's see. A. Okay. And we bring our semicolon. And we come back to another method, okay? So let's say else if mark, okay? Mark is greater than or equal to 70. Then we would have this our cout to be B. You have a semicolon. Don't forget the semicolons. Okay. Then you have our else statement. All right. Our else statement. You would say you should print fail. Just like how most of you people will be getting. Your mates, if you bring a phone and I catch you, 0. If you bring a phone and I catch you, cout equals 0. Huh? Ah, the Indian woman. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Right. So greatness. Howla. I can speak a little Chinese. So this would work, okay? Kindly input this, the else if before I come to the question I gave to you people. Okay. Try inputting the else if statement in your code to see if it would work. Let me put my return 0. Let me put my please did it work? Sure. Obviously been saying no control paper so I said just focus on the tutorial, learn. Ubana say be more slate cra over. You people are angry because I said most of you will fail. Ah, don't worry. We will not fail you. You now will fail your thing. Anyways, it was just by the way. This one. We are giving you tutorial, so sign purple. It worked, right? Great. So I'm waiting for let's say if I get like 2 other responses in addition to you, Kashiwa, we will just go. Oh. Yes, so okay, guys. Since it worked for you guys, let's go to the problem I gave to you people. So, you people should have something like this. Mhm. So, so you have something like, let's say, since we are dealing with sales, okay, in sale, we will have our semicolon. Then we come to, since you people want me to put our the C in for you, everything you want me to do for you like that, then we would have our sale here, okay? Hala. Then we will go to our first if condition statement, okay? So if our first sale from, just like the question is saying, greater than or equal, no, yes, greater than 20,000 bucks. So 20000, okay? We should have something like this for our first. Let's satisfy our first if condition, okay? We are initializing bonus to be 10% bonus, okay? So bonus equals, please, are you following? 0.10, which is 10% of 20,000 bucks. Then we come to our else if statement. Else if. Yes, if our sale is greater than 10,000 bucks. Okay, 210 and 230. Okay, so 10,000 bucks, we are going to initialize a bonus of 5%, just like the question says. So bonus, sorry, bonus equals 0.5. Mm. Make sure you bring your semicolon, telling the code that is the end of the line, okay? When we come to our last thing, our else statement. Hmm. So it should print zero bonus. Else bonus equals, we are initializing bonus to be 0.0. No bonus. Right. Kindly try it, okay? Please, can you try what you see on the board? Hello, is it working? Hello, please. Were you able to put it in your code? I wanted us to. As at this moment, I would want us to solve questions, but I want you to like do what is on your screen. Make sure you have it. Then we go on to solve past questions. Is that okay with everyone? We will solve some few past questions. So don't be alarmed. Those of you that want support, if you are fortunate, okay, you would see some of the past questions in the exam. It's not guaranteed, please. Don't go anywhere and say the the guy says I'm giving them apport. No, there is no apport. There is no apport from anywhere. Even if I have cry, I won't give you. So just focus on what is on the screen. Do it. When you are done, let me see your favorite emojis and we would continue. Okay. Okay. You want me to teach you the arrays? Anyway, if you've not subscribed to the channel, kindly do so right away. Okay. Right. You know, go cry. Nothing will happen. Just do it. Please, if you are done, you can send your favorite emoji. Okay. Hmm? Okay, guys. So, as I promised you, at this point, I would want to walk you through some past questions, okay? It's going to be simple. It's going to be simple, so you guys would have to pay critical attention. Don't be like how you are always you in the class. You don't listen. So please, here we are going through some past questions. I'll be solving them thoroughly with you, and I will expect. Right. So, Pashiwa, as you can see from your screen, we are having the objectives. I think it's like it's actually plain to but you will do up to there is a so we will only do 30 with you guys, okay? We would only do 30 with you guys. Anyways, I believe it's clear. You can see it clearly. So, question one: which of the following operations will cause undefined behavior in C++? A. Multiplying two floats. B. Dividing by zero. C. Adding two integers. And then D. Subtracting two doubles. You want me to be giving you the answers, or you will start guessing in the comment section? Please let me see your answers in the comment section, okay? Your answers in the comment section. All right. Question one. So when you look at A, multiplying two floats, from our earlier introductions and explanations, we understand that every arithmetic operations between floats is possible. Okay, adding two integers are possible. So every arithmetic operation that deals with whether it's a double, an integer, or a float, okay, is possible. The only thing that is not possible is dividing by zero. So from question one, we know our answer is B. Okay, question two. Great. So question two, which of the following is a correct way to end a statement in C++? It's obvious, which is C. Right. Which library is required for input and output operations in C++? If you paid critical attention from the start, I said it. So it should be there. Question three. Great. So question three, just like I'm saying, the library that is required for input and output operations in OOP C++ is include IStream, which you always use. What is the Okay, so let's go to question four. What is the main advantage of using pseudocode? So, question four. What is the main advantage of using pseudocode? Yes, as you can see. Okay, someone is saying it helps in understanding and designing algorithms without syntax constraints. Requires less memory, faster than code, can be executed directly. Question 4. I'm looking at you. What do you think? Question 4. Okay, so from question 4, we can see it's A. Okay. Shout outs to Steven Abubakar. You got it right. Question 5. What is the output of the following code? Integer x equals 10. Integer y equals 20. It should print out integer x greater than y. Integer x is to y. What is the output of the following code? Question 5. The answer is B, which is 20. Question 6. For the sake of time, I would be a little bit faster, so you would have to follow closely. Question 6. Which of the following statements correctly checks if a number n is even? I think we didn't, but you. So, which of the following statements correctly check if a number n is even? After this slide, we would actually do a video continuing the syllabus or the course. So, even if you don't get a chance to learn most of the things now, you can come back to the channel to check for the new audio that will be released on C++. Anyways, question 6. Which of the following statements correctly checks if a number n is even? A. If n with a percentage sign 2 equivalent to 0. The same thing applies to question B, C, and then D. Which is correct? So we know from question 6 that A is the correct answer. Kaishiwa. Which searching algorithm requires, by the way, it means let's go in Chinese. So which searching algorithm requires the array to be sorted? I don't know if you guys have done sorting. Anyways, we have hash search, jump search, binary search, and linear search. Which of them do you think is correct? Question 7. Which searching algorithm requires the array to be sorted? From question 7, we know is binary search, which is C. Question 8. What is the result of the expression 7 over 2 in C++? Will it give you an error? Will it give you a double result? Will it give you an even result? Or will it give you just like an odd result? So is it A, B, C, or D? Question 8. Right, so question 8, the answer is A. Question 9. What is the output of the following code? Integer x equals 5. And then giving us a display class plus x. I think this is about. You don't worry. When you go, okay, go and study more on them. So question 8A, question 9C. Now let me explain question 9 for you to understand. You know, anytime you see this plus plus, it means there's an addition of 1 to the already declared whatever in the container. So we have an integer container here which is having a variable x. It might be y, it can be kata, it can be prempe, it can be anything. And then we are saying the value is 5. But from our cout here, we are saying our display should print with an extension of class 1. So if we had the value of the integer in the container here to be 6, our output would have been 7. Please, do we get it? So the meaning of the plus plus here means there will be an addition of 1. Anyways, question 10. Which sorting algorithm is considered the most efficient for large data sets? Merge sort, insertion sort, bubble sort, and selection. Question 10. The sorting algorithm considered the most efficient for large data sets. Mind you, each of these sorting algorithms are beneficial, but we are talking about an exclusion here for large data sets. And when you are dealing with large data sets, you need merge sort. Okay. Question 11. What is the purpose of include directive? A. To allow a declaration of a variable, to include a function, to comment code, to add libraries of headers. Question 11. The answer is D. To add libraries of headers. Question 12. Which of the following containers does not allow duplicate elements? Which of the following containers does not allow duplicate elements? A. STD vector, STD map B, STD set C, and STD list D. Question 12. C. STD set does not allow duplicate elements. Question 13. Which header file is needed to use the string type in C++? This is obvious. Question 13. The header file needed to use any string type. So if you want to implement text in your code, the header file you would use to implement a string type in C++, which is it? Is it CSTD library? Is it a string? Is it C string or input and output string? Obviously a string, because even question C, we don't have nothing like a header file called C string. Anyways, question 14. How do you declare an array of 10 integers in C++? A. Integer array, your brackets, empty brackets equals 10. Integer array, normal parenthesis equals 10. Integer array, your 10 now in your parenthesis. And then integer array, curly brackets 10. Which of them is used to declare, or which of them signifies the declaration of an array of 10 integers? I think this is obvious. Question 14. The screen is blurry because your network is very slow. So your YouTube is automatically adjusting the video for you so you can watch it. So that is why it has decreased the quality. So kindly check your network well. Anyways, question 14. C. So the integer array with the 10 in the normal parentheses. What is the main benefit of using flowchart in algorithm design? This is easy. I think when you were in your first semester, personally, I came there to even teach you that when you guys were learning C sharp, the computer guys would bear witness. When you were learning C sharp before you learned C++ from the start, I taught you about flowcharts and all that. So, what is the main benefit of using flowcharts in algorithm design? A. They provide clear visual representation of the process. B. They eliminate the need for testing. C. They are faster to create than code. They automate code generation. It is obvious. Okay, question 15. Question 15. I want somebody to say the answer. You let me help you. We are only doing up to 30. So question 15 is A. Okay, so 16. Which of the following data types can store a true or false value? Obviously, it's Boolean. So 16D. What is the output of the following code if x is 5 switch x? So case 5. Okay, so let me explain the code. If x equals 5, the output, what is the output if the following code? The output of the following code if x is 5. Now, this is a switch case. We are declaring our switch x and we are saying case 5, it should print 5. Case 6, it should print 6. And then by default, it should give us. And if you have already declared our x to be 5, then for case 5, the C out or the console out, will it actually print 5 or it will print something else? Case 6, will it print 6 or will it print something else? And then with the default condition here, will it print just default or print something else? So with our possible answers, we have 5, 6, 5, 6 default, 5, and default. Question 17. So question 17, the answer is B. Okay, so it will print all the possible outputs there. What is the role of comments in pseudocode? So to generate output, to increase I already told you comments in pseudocodes enables readability and explanations. So for example, you have like 20,000 lines of code, okay, 2,100 lines of code, and you want to be able to identify every error, everything that is going on. Let's say we have an error. So your comments will help you to identify them because every method, every new line you start, you commented and then explained or defined it. So comments provides explanations and improve readability. So 18 is C. 19, what is the base case in a recursion code? So the first recursive cell, condition under which the recursion stops, which is B, the case where the function calls itself, which is C, and D, the last recursive cell. Question 19, the answer is B, the condition under which the recursion stops. And this is similar to an if statement. When you are writing an if statement and you have a return 0, when your condition meets or when your output or your input meets the condition or the threshold given to the code, okay, it will work perfectly in the order you have given it, or else there will be no recursion. It will not recur because there is no else. So it's either it will break or there will be blank. It will say process exited. Right. So what is the purpose of the continue statement in a loop? A, to terminate the program. B, to restart the loop. C, to exit the loop. D, to skip the rest of the loop iteration. Question 20. Question 20D, to skip the rest of the loop iteration. Now, when you are coding and you implement while loops, okay, the purpose of a loop is for iteration. But when your conditions or your input meets the threshold you've given, then it means the continue there will skip every other loop and go to the next possible like code it can execute. Kashiba. In a queue, how is an element added? A, you can add it anywhere. B, you can add it randomly. C, you can add it at the front. And D, you can add it at the rear. 21. Our answer is D. You add it at the rear. How a new element will be added? You don't just add it anywhere randomly or at the front, but you put it at the rear means at the back of the code. 22. The primary goal of software testing. A, to find errors. B, to improve performance. C, to document code. D, to refactor code. 22. A, to check for errors, definitely. 23. The data structure follows. Which data structure follows last in first out principle? Is it arrays? Is it queue? Is it list or stack? So from here, because our time is fast spent, I'll be speeding, okay? So I will not be explaining the um questions to you. I will just say the correct answer. So 23, we have D for an answer. 24, we have B for an answer, obviously. 25, we have C for an answer, the first underscore value. 26, we have D for an answer. I think I should have explained 26. No, you go and learn it. There is no time. 26D, 27A, 28D, 29D, and finally 30C. Okay, great. So I think we've actually done a good job. Okay, we've actually done a good job. We've actually done a good job. I think we started around 5. We spent almost 2 hours and we've done well. So we thank you for joining the live, and then we hope you would make the most of everything that has been spilled out here. This is our exploring channel, and you just learned C++ from the introduction to knowing many things like the functions, how to create a code in C++, if statement, if else statement, and then else if statement. Great. My name is Winfred Carter. I've met most of you before. Most, I think everybody here knows me. Maybe you don't know, you've not seen the face. That is why. So, all the best in your mid semester. As I said earlier, we would actually upload the rest of the continuation of the video. Probably might not feature the past questions, but we would continue to explain from the loops, the switches, the arrays, and what have you. So, God be with you, and then Godspeed in your endeavors. Some of you are saying I should show the rest of the questions so that you will screenshot, okay? You will screenshot them and then you will go and solve them. Mm, right. So, please, if you found whatever we did today useful, can I see your favorite emoji? Like whatever you saw here, you've learned something. Can I see your favorite emoji? 23 and 24. Before that, can I still see your favorite emojis? So I know you guys are still with us. So 23, the answer is D, stack. Okay, the data structure that follows last in, first out principle is stack. And then 24, the operator that is used to get the address of a variable is B, the end operator. Okay, great. Some of you are saying I should continue, I should continue. Meanwhile, you don't come to class. This semester I've not been to your class before because I don't have like any course there to assist any lecturer do. So all the best in your mid semester. As I said earlier, Godspeed your studies and everything. Yes, so open this. We would meet another time, definitely. So then we would end the live here today. Shalom, Maranatha.